What's going on, guys? It's your boy Cash, and we are here today to just check it on what they're doing in 7 Deadly Sins Grande Cruzades. They just announced the lovely little what is this? Once I was that time I got reincarnated as a slime collaboration. Now, as you can see, I'm not as hype as I usually am because unfortunately everything just kind of released on Japan, and then we're just kind of getting it. So I think being spoiled by watching so many of the other videos, kind of seeing these units already, just kind of like, I don't know, just doesn't hit the same. I actually like this anime outside of like it kind of lagged on near the ending of it. It was a really good anime, but this collaboration in general is pretty cool. We're gonna take a look at the units, not a guide or anything like that, but just to look at the units a little bit, and then when they actually come into game, then we'll look at them in a more in-depth scenario situation thing. So first we're gonna go from right to left up here. First we get the slime, which is the actual him as a slime, which is, you know, his original version. Which is weird is that this version is the SSR version, which I guess makes sense because he fought, I guess, more as this version in the anime than as this. He usually just was, I don't know, walked around with it or whatever, which is pretty cool. As you can see, some buff removal, stance removal, attack goes up. Is a base attack. I need to start learning the base attack off this website because it's a more, gives more detail of what they actually can do. Crit chance 20%. Heal, I thought this was weird when I saw it, like his heal doesn't actually level up whatsoever, but he does heal and give debuff immunity, which is very similar to the blue, yes, the blue Liz. I think it's the same type of heal. Yeah, no, her stuff removes debuffs first and then heals and then do this. Yeah, that's the slight difference between these two. I do like debuff immunity. The only thing is that, yeah, see, it does, it heals, always heals, then heals and debuff to one target, and then rank 3 heals to all. Debuff immunity, I think, is something that the more characters in a game that have that, the better. A lot of things are screwed over by petrify. I wish that debuff was also included in the alt gauge manipulation, but then that might be too strong. Then you have characters like Green Escanor that would be a little bit rampant in the game if you have that. Then it's alt depletes alt move gauge, which is cool. I can't wait to see all these in game. I'm very interested to see how crazy it is. He's an SR, so I'm assuming he's just gonna be in the move pool. You'll probably get him 666. His passive also is pretty good. Heals HP based off diminished HP. So it's kind of like I think based on how much HP you have lost, you will gain 5% of that back, which is pretty cool. I think that the cool thing about global, though, in comparison to the Japanese server, is that a lot of the broken or stronger stuff that's already in their game isn't in our game. So these characters might actually flourish in the current global meta instead of it being like purely just Escanor, or only use this one, only use this one. And you know, your gems are precious. They really are. Like, I only have like 60 gems, and then the arena reset, so I'm gonna get like 30 or whatever gems. Now that's 90. Now if I blow it all on this banner, then they release another character that they deem that's a god, and then I don't have anything for it. It just kind of sucks. So they are pushing a lot of characters quickly. It's like they're trying to catch up to the Japanese server, which I think, I don't know how many characters they're behind because they seem to be releasing one or so at a time. So it's kind of sucks that they're rushing through everything. But with that in mind, as long as they add some of those characters back or repeat them later on, I feel like it's gonna be you know, perfectly okay. Like, I'm not mad missing the current Elizabeth, this Elizabeth. I'm not mad losing her, because even though I think she's really good, and I think that people are too focused on the fact that when she dies, let me leave her at level 1, could get you bit. It's yeah, yes, you can do that, but you know, it'd be nice to use her, but to spend resources to get her would have just been a little bit too much. Anywho, let's go to a million bike damage, which, if I'm not mistaken, is, yeah, increased crit damage, which is pretty cool. So as you see, that goes up. I love characters with spike on the S1. It allows you to do some funky stuff, obviously with them themselves, but I think her crit is pretty high, 80% crit chance, and crit damage is whatever, but she also gets crit damage if you look at her passive per skill usage. So she should be able to put out a decent amount of damage, I think, especially if you pair her with characters that lower defense stats, which will lower their crit chance, their crit defense, and lower their crit. Oh no, there's crit resistance and there's crit. Yeah, so that's correct. So like Death Pierce or something like that would be nice to pair with her, so she might actually like boost people out. I feel like no one's talking about that, but you know, whatever. You know, why would you actually take the time to make a strategic team in a game that's supposed to be based around strategy? Why would you do that? Anyway, then she has a move, disables alt moves, which is pretty nice. It doesn't remove the alt gauge. It doesn't remove the it doesn't remove the ultimate move orbs, right? But they can't use their alt, which in essence leaves a card in their slot, which is, I think, is really strong. I think that that's something that's also really cool. Like, they can't, I don't know if this is I think it is a probably debuff. That's the only thing I don't know, because it says debuff here, so it's very likely an actual debuff that can be cleansed. So I guess that's the counter to it, right? In essence, if you were to lock their their ultimate moves up, they're losing a card that could potentially combine to get to rank 2 or rank 3 or whatever like that. And I think that there's viability in that. It's interesting. And her ult is detonate, which I think is not that no one really cares too much about it. Yeah, 5%. Oh no, this is the one that does. The detonate is different. It does damage based on the ult more. So if she ults someone that has ult, then she does more on her ult. Yes, it's also AoE, which is actually pretty interesting to see. I'm very interested to see when, you know, all the other showcase YouTubers go hard in the paint, and we'll see how strong this actually is, because it does damage per orb. So it doesn't, they don't have to have a full ult to do multiple damage. It's not like direct like that. So if they have 2, it does a little bit more damage. It goes up by 15% per orb. So I think that this is going to be good against people that rush ult, but you're going to also need to get your ult first. Get your ult first before they could ult and things of that nature, which is pretty cool. Or if this thing, you have to get it to rank 3 to stop it for 2 turns. Some cool stuff. I like it, because remember, when cards combine, you can't really control when that happens, when they combine off the house or whatever. What do they call it in poker? Flood? I can't think. Someone's gonna remind me and I'm gonna feel bad. But I think she's pretty cool as well. So far, cool characters. They're just really cool characters. Rimaru, he has Rupture, which is pretty good, as you guys know. They have buffs, and a lot of buff characters in the game, and especially him being blue, I think is awesome, because being blue is you're gonna be able to fight against the Arthur teams. Not like that's, I think that's mono red. Mono red, I think, is usually Arthur and Gother plus whoever you want. It could either be Elbrim or a Hauser if it's ungeared. If it's geared, it's usually like Hauser. His passive is increases defense related stats by 8% if the hero takes damage, which I think is awesome. That's a really cool passive there. It makes me think that maybe you can, if you wanted to, possibly use this guy and Grey Demon, because yes, they're limited characters. You know, they're not gonna come around for like every time they're, you know. So it'd be nice. You have a Grey Demon. He has the Rupture. In the second phase, the Grey Demon gets the buff. So maybe he'll just be doing that, help you out with that. But also, like I said, I think PvP, which is what this game, in my opinion, is more geared towards, is PvP. Outside of grinding the resources from the PvE stuff that's in the game, I don't see why you would normally do it for shits and giggles. Like, you farm, I guess, the food. That's probably the only thing that you're gonna farm like randomly, because you might need food for PvP. You're doing PvE to get resources, which, yes, if you want to level up a character, but you do have a, what is it, like a resource gap, because you can't farm SSR pendants. So with that being said, you can't really evolve characters all the time. You can have the resources do it, but you still have to wait for the SSR pendants to come back to you. So there is that. Next up is this lovely thing. I do like this, is that he assumes the stance, which makes him debuff immune for 1 turn, and he heals. This is very similar to Bond, red bonds, red SR bonds. This is 10,000 bonds in the game, which is pretty cool. And then he gets a taunt, which is something Bond does not have. So he can taunt them into you, and then he's gonna heal back 30% of his HP that he lost, the diminished HP. I always mess this up. It's not how much HP he lost, but how much HP he has missing in general. So I always thought that I had to take damage in order to heal, but that's actually not how that works. So if he's like very, very low on HP, you can literally use this just to heal. That's pretty much what's cool, and it's gonna give you 30% back. Rank 2 is giving you 30% back, and then rank 3 is taunting. Oh, sorry, rank 2 taunts as well, which I just said, but rank 3 taunts for 2 turns and gives you debuff immunity for 2 turns and heals back 50%. Very effective taunt right there. If any of the taunters in the game had that to taunt and then heal, I did try to do that. I was thinking about making regeneration, but unfortunately regeneration does not have a gear type. You can do recovery rate, but I don't think you can do regeneration. You have to just do it in the substats so that you heal back pretty much. You heal back damage that you took, that you tanked, which is pretty cool. Anyway, then the last thing here is cancels buffs and stances, single target attack, and it stuns, very similar to this guy right in the back, Meliodas, Captain Meliodas. Elaine, also same thing, and then you see it goes up in damage here if you have it with Meliodas, which is pretty cool that they decided to make a combined attack with a character, you know, the main character of the actual series. I actually wish that a lot of things did that. Like, imagine all the other games that are in these realms of gacha, that when they do a collab, they also decide to actually make collab attacks, you know, because this in the game it functions in a really cool way, because we know that combining stuff like that makes the character stronger. So I definitely think that that would have been good for all of them. Like, as you can see, she doesn't have it, but it would have been nice if they did it. You know, maybe they couldn't afford it to do it for every character, but I would have liked to see it. Then last but not least is Benny Amaru. He's in the building. He has weak points, so if they're debuffed, he's going to do more damage. Single target at that. Looks pretty good. And then we have the AoE decrease defense related stats. As we can see here, that is defense, resistance, crit resistance, and crit defense, which is pretty damn good. 20% for 2 turns, and are all at 2 turns, and then this goes to 3 turns for 40%. That's huge. And as you just saw, like we were just going over with this character, lowering the crit defense, or sorry, crit resistance will help a character like her out. It'll also help out characters that have cool things with crit, like Heldra, I think Heldry or whatever, Deldry, whatever her name is, will help her, because she actually has what is it, Spike, is it called? Spike on her S1 too, but she has like really weird, she can't really use it. It's very weird that they even gave it to her. But you know, having characters like this also enables AoE comps, because it literally at rank 1 decreases them by 20% plus 2. I can almost see that you'll probably run him and like a green bond. Imagine this into extort. Well, extort first, right? So that you don't get the doo-doo defense, right? You extort first, then decrease all their stats, and then just AoE and just start AoEing, because it's 2 turns, so you got 2 turns to do it. You got that 1 turn where you can hit with AoE, and then the 2nd turn, and then you can even throw in like Hauser or something like that. I would be very interested to see that. Very, very interested to see that. Then at last but not least, he has the, okay, it's a single target hit here. Decreases ranks, and then depending on how many skill ranks they go down, the ultimate move gauge go down. So I think really strong. Also, we didn't even mention the passive. Every skill that he uses increases his damage. Flat out his damage. It has nothing to do with his stats. So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool character. I like all 3 of them. Oh, sorry, even 4. It's 4 of them. Yeah, technically, because this one too. I definitely think they're pretty cool. I don't know how they're gonna do it. That's why I was hesitant to make the video, because I was a little bit afraid of how are they gonna do it, because if you guys haven't figured this out, Global and Japan don't do the same thing necessarily. They might do a different type of banner on Global. They just, you know, because they know that it's a different demographic, they spend money differently. So who knows exactly how they're going to do this banner for us? Because to me, if you're asking me, there's 3 characters here that are SSR. So, you know, 3 characters: red, blue, green, sorry. I was actually saying to myself that I said, like, yo, green might be like one of the worst colors. Like, I feel like, I don't know. Oh, no, not sorry. I think it was blue. So maybe I'm happy here that they're actually going blue. I was saying blue is one of the worst colors. I started like feeding off my blue, because it was like, who am I using that's blue? Green and red just seem to be the best colors in the game. But yeah, there you go. Yeah, green. There we go. But I'm curious how they're gonna do. Is it gonna be 3 separate banners all at the same time, or one of them gonna be given away for free? It'd be nice if he was given away for free, because he's, you know, the main leader, given away for free for something. I keep hearing that Japan server gets a lot of stuff like pretty much for free, and I'm thinking that, you know, it'd be nice if Global got it, or will we have to wait for a rerun or something like that? You know, we'll see what they say, because as you can see here, their maintenance notice is garbage can as far as details go. Also, Demon Meliodas going into the coin shop. But one really crappy thing about the coin shop is that none of the units in it that they kept adding has gone on sale yet. Not even Green Bond, which I've been waiting to go on sale for 5 coins, and it's like it's like they don't want to do it. I don't know. It's like they won't put them in for the 5 sale. They put the other blue one, which I don't know. I feel like they're stalling out the sale. Anywho, what do you guys think about these characters? Which ones are you more excited for than maybe others? I'm looking forward to definitely seeing Benimaru. I think he's very, very strong. I just want to see I want to see some AoE damage with this, and some other characters like Death Pierce in the back. Same thing with Million. I think that this guy is a Ramaru is strong, but he's very defensive, so it's not he can't pull off the cooler stuff that you're usually looking for as far as the showcase. But I'm hoping that maybe this rupture damage and maybe a really cool team comp can bring out the glory, so to speak. Let me know what you guys think. Just remember that every day at the casino is your lucky day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.